To understand who we are and how BW Blacksmith came to be, you first have to know the man behind the brand, Ben Willems.
A great man Ben Willems was.
My grandpa was a very, very special person to all of us.
He just became everybody's friend. He was just that type of person that everybody loved him.
He was always just super nice, going out of his way to make everybody feel welcome and have fun and comfortable.
I think everybody who met him just felt that, and you instantly just wanted to be around him.
If I was going to describe my dad from a son's standpoint, perfect. I would describe my dad as perfect. There's not a lot of kids that can say that about their parents. It didn't matter what kind of trouble I got into, he would do everything he could to bail me out. There was just never a time that I needed anything. My dad wasn't there for me.
When I first met him, he always wanted to make sure that I felt a part. He liked to make people around him be comfortable. He always was looking out for the others, never really thinking of himself.
He was the type of person that he never met a stranger.
He would help anyone that needed help. There's not one person he didn't like. Could be someone sitting on the street, he would do anything for anyone. He'd give them the shirt off his back. He was very giving.
I mean, even growing up, he would always set out a cooler out for the trash men, like for them to have cold drinks and snacks when they came to pick up his garbage. Every morning when we'd take the trash out, we would go out there and he'd set up a cooler out there so they would have cold drinks.
It doesn't matter who you were, if he just met you, like you just felt the love coming from him.
He always went out of his way to be helpful to others. If somebody had something broken, he'd go over and help them fix it. If he could help, he would help. And I think kind would be the most well-rounded word to kind of describe him.
I have a lot of memories of him on family trips. I had obviously 5 young kids with us a lot of the times, and he was always right there helping me carry the babies or helping me with the stroller, always willing to jump in and help anywhere he could.
I would get babysat there a lot when Mom and Dad were at work, so I would help him with any of his little projects. Turning stuff green and yellow was his thing. We spray painted a lot of things.
When I was younger, he used to have these old little Carmex lip balm cases, and he gave each of us our own with a sticker and a different color on the lid, and he would fill them up with quarters for us every family night so we could get soda from his soda machine at the farm.
So if he was outside, our first thing would be like, Mom, can we go over to Grandpa's? We want to go over there and help him, whatever. I mean, which is weird for kids to want to go over and help somebody work, but that's what we love to do because he made it fun. He made it exciting. He taught us so much in doing it. It didn't matter what the project was, and it was just fun to get out there and do stuff with him.
What touched me the most would be how he spent individual time with each grandkid. He would plop them down on his lap and just sit there and talk to them and spend time with them and ask them what they've been doing. And even as they got older, he'd grab them and sit them down on the couch and, okay, show me all your pictures on your phone. What have you guys been up to? What have you been doing lately? I have pictures and memories of him just sitting there spending time and chatting with his grandkids, which is very special.
And just as soon as he met me, he just thought of me as one of the family. He was a great guy to hang out with. When I started working at the speed equipment shop, he would show up every once in a while, just with some tools, brand new tools that he just went and bought me. I don't know why, I guess just for the heck of it. I guess he was thinking about me, but he would just show up with some tools. Say, here, I just thought you'd need these or thought you could use them.
Hard working his whole life. Anybody that knows him would not be surprised by that statement. But it wasn't hard working because he was just that dedicated. It was hard working because the man loved to work.
He loved projects. Like I say, that's where we get it from. He loved to find old antiques and fix them up and put them on display. He always worked. He hated just sitting around doing nothing. Like even at 70 years old, he'd be out there on the farm fixing fences.
At different phases of his retirement, he pretty much went to work full time with us, with all of us kids.
He hated it when somebody told him he couldn't do something. He's like, oh yeah, watch this. Like he had that type of attitude towards life.
He seen value in work. He wasn't gonna sit around. Even as he got older, he just wasn't gonna get old and lazy. He was gonna work every single day.
He loved to build things, tinker with things.
Shane's father always had a really big interest in bringing back the old farm life, I guess you would kind of say.
He started doing a lot of antiquing, not the type of stuff you might think of like the frail furniture and stuff like that. My dad was all about work. He was all about the working man and people that build stuff and accomplish stuff with their hands. He was fascinated with the idea of hanging on to that part of our history and that part of our heritage. During that process, one of the things he latched hold of was something he had very little experience with. He hadn't done it in his life, and that was blacksmithing.
Blacksmithing was one thing that really intrigued him, and he always had the interest in.
Then he decided, all of a sudden one day he came to me and he said, hey, I need you to come over to help me weld some stuff. I got a project. And he has me start welding this together, and he's telling me we're building a forge.
He was really proud of it. That was like his little hobby, and he enjoyed it.
Specifically, probably one of his proudest things was his blacksmith shop that he had out there at his house.
My grandpa loved BW Blacksmith stuff. He loved doing that kind of work. He had this whole shop that he put together, like a blacksmith shop that he wanted to go out there and turn into just unique projects. Like I say, he always wanted to do something.
Had a lot of hand-built creations. His shop is filled with items that he might have made, might have modified, built from scratch.
And he started doing that stuff, so we came up with the name BW Blacksmith.
So my dad had to design him a logo because he wanted to put a goat on his Jeep, and he told him that wasn't cool. So we went to work and we started a brand, and we fell in love with it.
Had us make lots of stickers, and he put them on pretty much everything in his shop. he always was very tickled and excited to brand his stuff with things that his kids had made.
2, maybe 3 years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer.
During that time, one of the last things I did with my dad was he wanted to build my sister a coffee table for their new house. By this time he knew that he was, looking at months. And with every other one of our house projects, my dad would have been a driving force of that project. And on my sister's house, he couldn't help. And it bothered him a lot. It started out, he called me and said, hey, I got this thing drawn. I'm gonna get all the pieces ready, just like we used to do. And I knew this was a big push for him. And I want you to come over and weld this thing up. About 3-4 weeks passed, he called me back up and said, I can't do it. I just don't have the energy to go do that. Is there any way I can get you to just build it? I want to be there, but you just do it. So I went and picked him up, spent probably 5 hours and kind of designed what is now my sister's coffee table and the first official piece of BW Blacksmith furniture that I built. I can tell you story after story after story after story about my dad.
And he was always, like I say, always happy, always just found a way to worm his way into your heart.
Everything good that I would aspire to, he was a better man than I am.
And that's why the brand started, was because of him.
He was an incredible man.
But that's why we decided we wanted to take that brand and kind of turn it into his legacy.